Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the LHS 2021 graduation.
Good evening. Please welcome Ben Diacetis and Kate McCarty.
Welcome, fellow graduates, friends, family, faculty, and Zoom attendees. My name is Ben.
And my name is Kate.
And we are members of the Senior Class Board. We are both very proud to welcome the Libertyville High School Class of 2021 to tonight's commencement ceremony. This evening, we are gathered here as the first class in many years to graduate in the main gym. We are in the gym where we have spent countless hours with classmates, competing in games and supporting our teammates. We are extremely fortunate to belong to such an inclusive community that puts a great importance on academics, athletics, fine arts, clubs, and school spirit.
Despite this year being different in every way, we have still managed to create new memories that will last a lifetime. The teachers and faculty have selflessly dedicated their time and effort to give us a memorable senior year, and we cannot express how grateful we are. As we look into the future and move on to the next chapter of our lives, we will always remember what this year has taught us. We have learned to remain resilient and stand together during these difficult times. On behalf of all the graduates, we wish to thank those who are here today. We are successful because of your continued support, and we know that our accomplishments were made possible by your guidance and your encouragement. Congratulations, Class of 2021. We did it. Thank you. Now please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the Star-Spangled Banner.
Twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, when the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Now, I am pleased to introduce Libertyville High School Principal, Dr. Colentis.
Tonight, we gather to honor the 460 members of the class of 2021 as they walk across our stage and earn their high school diplomas. At this moment, however, we pause to remember and recognize a very special member of the class, Alyssa Gillespie, who in 2017 passed away from a sudden illness and left us much too early. Alyssa enjoyed Scouts, tap dancing, and soccer. She also enjoyed art, photography, and hanging with friends. Her big brother Tyler was her best friend, and she loved spending time with him. Alyssa was a very spiritual child and loved going to Bible camp. Though not here in body tonight, Alyssa is certainly here in spirit. And we symbolize her presence with these beautiful flowers on our stage and an open seat placed among her classmates. We also wish to collectively recognize Alyssa's father, Steve, and brother Tyler, who were able to join us for this celebration tonight. Please join me in a moment of silence to remember our honorary graduate, Alyssa Gillespie.
I have often dreamed of a far-off place where a hero's welcome would be waiting for me.
Where the crowds will cheer when they see my face, and a voice keeps saying, "This is where I'm meant to be."
I'll be there someday. I can go the distance. I will find my way. If I can be strong, I know every mile will be worth my while. When I go the distance, I'll be right where I belong. Down an unknown road to embrace my fate. Though that road may wander, it will lead me to you.
And 1,000 years would be worth the wait. It might take a lifetime, but somehow I'll see it through,
And I won't look back. I can go the distance. I will stay on track. No, I won't accept defeat. It's an uphill slope, but I won't lose hope till I go the distance and my journey is complete. Like a shooting star, I will go the distance. I will search the world. I will face its harms. I don't care how far.
I would now like to introduce our first student speaker. Our students apply to be our speakers for graduation. They have to audition and try out, and a committee of faculty selects our student speakers. Our first student speaker is Amal Hassan.
Our senior year, a year full of redefinition, loss, gain, questioning, and growth. As I reflect back on the worldwide pandemic shutdown in March of 2020, I'm reminded of all the things I needed to do as an older sister to help my family get through that time period. Most importantly, make the popcorn, get the blankets to watch the Avenger movies with my two younger brothers. They would turn on a Marvel movie, then 3 hours later, turn on another, and another, and another. And as I watched these movies with my siblings, I'd always think to myself, how many people do these Avengers have to fight? It's never ending. No matter which movie I watched, though, some battles were tougher than others, some battles were longer than others, and some held towering losses. But every time, the Avengers came out victorious. In the movie Avengers: Infinity War, the villain Thanos said, "I am inevitable," and he snapped his fingers and the whole world changed. Most would say, for the worst. But did the Avengers give up? No. They reflected, adjusted, and continued to complete their work, fighting for a brighter and more equitable future, having to accept that loss and sacrifice were a part of this battle. When I see my classmates, I see similarities to the Avengers. We are a student body of brave and strong individuals who, when the COVID-19 virus said, "I am inevitable," kept fighting and kept going, even when it was just so easy to give up. I see individuals who, rather than let change ruin us, let change inspire us. And I see individuals who grew through the complex dynamic of our society, who chose to progress rather than to regress. The surface level senior year we expected was replaced with a profound, one-of-a-kind year that will be the head start to our success in the future. Just as every day for the Avengers was a battle against chaos, darkness, and division, we too must address the battles we face in our daily lives. One such battle is the one that we are fighting for our children of color, and for children all around the world to not only exist, but to be embraced. When we choose to fight for justice, the uncomfortable internal battles regarding growth, education, and accountability were the quietest, but oftentimes the hardest to fight. We learned that inclusion does not always equal equity, diversity does not always equal justice, tolerance does not always equal love, and silence does not always equal peace. Our generation will be the generation talked about in history classes. We will be talked about as teenagers who demanded accountability, justice, and change, even when static consistency and normalcy in our own daily lives were scarce. The inevitable worst that occurred allowed us to demand the evident change for an exceptional world. In the end, the Avengers were victorious in their final battle against Thanos due to their unity, strength, and resilience. They all stood together, present and united with the revival of team spirit. They helped each other fight through the final battle, even though sacrifices had to be made along the way. Like the Avengers, the sacrifices we, as seniors, have made have given us lessons and tools that will allow us to fight the battles life will throw at us. But remember, this isn't our final battle. This is just our starting point. The spirit we cherish here tonight is true school spirit, the spirit of unity and presence. Class of 2021, our internal values have been strengthened, and now the identity that this past year has shaped is the one that we will continue to build upon. It is now our time to rebuild, modify, perfect. Learn, adapt, and grow, and we will be prepared for the next sudden battle the world will begin. Thank you. It is now my honor to introduce Andrew Clark.
The most fundamental truth that I have learned over my past 4 years of life experience is that no matter who you are with or what you are doing, there will never be a time when everyone agrees to listen to the same playlist. Never. And yet, we play our songs anyway. Much like our individual experiences over the past 4 years, the beauty of music only exists in its diversity. It all started 13 years ago. As we boarded the bus for our first day of kindergarten, our playlists officially began. Every day, we chose to add songs of curiosity, of kindness, of eagerness to learn. And for 6 years, we unknowingly did so together. As the elementary school doors closed for the final time and a new set swung open, we took the opportunity to truly define our playlist. While some chose to add a similar selection of songs, many chose to explore different genres, learning from new people and taking advantage of novel experiences. We learned that not everyone would choose the same path. With so many different genres, it really wasn't possible. But even as we surrounded ourselves with a similar selection of playlists, we understood our place as a piece of the larger puzzle, a valuable and irreplaceable lyric to a communal song. Finally, we arrived at LHS. Here we learned the power of diversity by surrounding ourselves not only with similar playlists, but with those that challenged us, those that made us question our own songs and perhaps add new ones. Our classrooms, clubs, athletics, and fine arts flourished as 500 voices created a concerto of community. We learned the pain of choosing a bad song, making mistakes from which we will continue to learn for years to come. And we learned the euphoric symphony of our successes, most notably those we shared with our peers. As one Wildcat family, we were unstoppable. And then we were tested. In March of 2020, a song began playing that nobody wanted to hear. Students and staff alike underwent one of the most difficult educational barriers that has ever occurred. And yet, we grew together. It was difficult at first, this new song ringing in our ear, every dissonant chord reminding us of the music we might be listening to if only we could choose. But we found beauty in our shared adversity. As we adapted to these unprecedented lyrics, we found community in our struggle. Every day, we grew together. We put aside the differences in our playlists and built a new one as a family. I will forever be proud of the way we overcame this once unbearable song. And I will forever be grateful to my Wildcat family for doing it together. As we enter the next phase of our lives, we have the rare opportunity to start another playlist, to begin anew. And yet, the lyrics we cherished in our youth will stay with us wherever we go. I can't say that I will always remember how to solve a derivative, but I guarantee I won't be forgetting the lunches I spent waiting in line for the famous buff chick sandwich, the hours I spent competing and growing with my teammates, or the mornings I woke up a little bit early to get that first cup of hot chocolate Friday. As our playlists continue to expand in 500 different directions, we will always remember the songs we shared and the challenges we faced together. And as we navigate a new and exciting world, a world in which we are eager to create change and build a brighter tomorrow, we must remember that our lives are not defined by our final destination, but by the footsteps we take and the lessons we learn along the way, by the people we love, and by the lyrics that will stay with us as long as we live. So, class of 2021, I ask you, what song will you play next? Thank you. I would now like to invite Amal back up to the podium. On behalf of the Libertyville High School student body, Amal and I would like to honor Mrs. Kruckman, who is retiring this June. Mrs. Kruckman is an individual who inspires others to rise up to any occasion. Mrs. Kruckman planned this event as well as 15 other high school graduations for LHS. She has given us so much and has worked tirelessly throughout the entire year so that we can have a sense of normalcy in our senior year.
Mrs. Kruckman always greets every student in the hall. Her enthusiasm and positivity brightened up our days, and her care for all students have provided us with comfort. Mrs. Kruckman, in the biggest crowd of us, you will forever stand out. It is our honor as students to have had you as a leader in our school. We celebrate and honor you tonight for your leadership and love for the class of 2021. We will all miss you.
I'm now honored to introduce our fearless leader, Dr. Kalenis.
All right, class of 2021, I'm still alive in the knockout game. Now, I think Kaylee Sherman told me I'm in the top 11, so I've got my goggles on, but I'm going to take them off so I can actually see my speech here tonight. But remember, graduation is a safe zone. Nobody gets knocked out at graduation, all right? Isabel, don't even try it. I am safe up here. Once I put my glasses on, I'll be able to actually see you again. Much better, all right. Well, as I look out at all of you, I see your toughness and your grit and your tenacity and your determination, and I'm genuinely impressed and inspired by you. As you've heard from our speakers, no senior class has faced what you have faced. I think about this. You had emergency school last spring. You had full e-school this fall. You had half-day hybrid earlier this spring. You had full-day hybrid later this spring. You had COVID testing, masks in schools, 14-day quarantines, plexiglass, hand sanitizer, wipe in, wipe out, vaccinations, altered athletic schedules, theater performances in the parking lot, socially distanced choir, bell covers and band. We had prom here at LHS, and we absolutely did everything we could to try to get an epic graduation on our football field. But now I do think you are the only high school class to graduate in our main gym. So throughout this entire year, there were two things that truly defined your class and inspired our school, and both of these are on full display tonight. One was your indomitable will and your sheer determination to not let the losses and disruptions of COVID-19 define you or your senior year. There were so many times you could have focused on all the things you had lost and you couldn't do, but instead you chose to take control of your attitude and command of your circumstances, and you put your focus on all that you could do. Your, "It's all right, Dr. K, we can do this," attitude was deeply inspiring to me. Even this morning, as I was wrestling with the disappointment of having to come here and move graduation inside, I thought to myself, what would the class of 21 tell me? And I immediately drew strength from that, and I got energy to follow your lead and make the best of this ceremony tonight. Second, I can seldom recall a class that was more unified and connected to one another in the way that you are. Maybe it was the fact that you were forced to isolate from each other for so long that you grew to value and care for one another in a very real and noticeable way. And you know that I'm getting emotional because I consider myself one of you. I mean, we started as freshmen together. And at that time, I've never been at LHS without you guys. And at that time, who would have ever imagined that 4 years later, we'd be working together to try to help lead our school through a global pandemic? And let me tell you something. Though I never, ever want to go through another school year like the one we just experienced, if I ever have to, I would not want to go through it with any other senior class than you guys. My memories and my heart are filled with good stories that I could tell about each and every one of you. And I'm truly sorry that we don't have the time to do that tonight. But let's keep the impressive and collective talents of this whole class in mind as we now recognize those members of your class with exemplary academic achievement. National Honor Society members, please stand. Thank you for your leadership, your scholarship, and your service. You may be seated. Next, we recognize our LHS honor grads. These students have achieved a GPA of 4.0 or better based on their 7-semester grades. Students, please stand. Thank you to all of you for your outstanding efforts in the classroom and your leadership. Next, we recognize our Link Crew leaders. Every year, these students have the huge responsibility of trying to help our freshman Wildcats transition to high school. And this year was beyond a doubt the most difficult year ever. Leading Link Crew meetings through Zoom will never be rivaled in terms of its complexity. Thank you, Link Crew leaders, for your service. Please stand. All right, speaking of service, we now recognize the 11 seniors who are wearing a red, white, and blue tassel because they have chosen to serve the United States by enlisting in the branches of the military after graduation tonight. Yes. Students, please stand when I call your names. Army, ROTC, Derek Leading. James Steinhaus. Leanne Tam. Colin Watson. Marines, ROTC, Gavin Campbell. Army National Guard, Military Enlistment, Yinghao Kathleen Jin. U.S. Coast Guard, Military Enlistment, Rylan Grana. Navy, ROTC, Ryan Allen. Air Force, ROTC, Olivia Bertau. Matthew Herr. Tyler Trigg. Congratulations and thank you for your noble service. Also at this moment, I would ask for all of us here to extend our sincere gratitude to any parent or family member or loved one who is here tonight and is on active duty or who is a veteran. If you would please stand and be recognized. Thank you for your service. Now, graduation not only marks the end of high school for our seniors, but additionally, it symbolizes a new chapter for our retiring teachers. As a community, I ask all of us to recognize 3 dedicated individuals, each of whom has given many years of service to the students and families of Libertyville High School. They will be deeply missed. The class of 2021 faculty graduates are Ms. Doreen Lemke, Special Services. Mr. Jim Goodwin, Math. Come on, you can stand up, Mr. Goodwin. Take a bow. And Ms. Christy Robertson, Social Studies. Class of 2021, shortly I will present you to the Board of Education to receive your diplomas. Before I do, though, I want to take a moment to recognize the emotions that I know we are feeling at this time. And I imagine many of you are sitting there with excitement at finishing high school, but also with a feeling of sadness over the fact that you soon will no longer have the school or your teachers or your coaches or your friends as part of your everyday life. And I know this can hurt. Thinking about you not being here, as I said earlier, it makes me sad too. I really do think we have a bond as a class and a principal that I won't ever have with another group of students. And I know that there's many parents and family members either at home watching this or in here with us tonight. You're feeling that bittersweet joy and sadness too. I mean, you have this tremendous pride for all that your child has accomplished, but you've also got that strong sense of sadness at seeing your little boy or little girl suddenly all grown up and talking about leaving home. Thinking about this was making me think about my own children. They're your age now, but when they were little, they each had a treasured possession that they would cling to, and they would carry it with them wherever they went. My daughter Reese in particular, had Bunny. Do not tell her that I brought Bunny here. Nobody Instagram this. This would be bad. All right. But as a little girl, okay, every moment of her day, she was with Bunny. She would trudge around town. She would trudge to preschool. Wherever she went, she took Bunny by the ears and just dragged him along with her. And that's because Bunny was her rock. It was her comfort. And I was thinking about her attachment to Bunny as I was thinking about your attachment to Libertyville High School and to one another. As a class, your bond to this school, your friends, your family, and your routines is as strong as Reese's was to Bunny. And for years, you've been just holding tight to this place. It's been your security blanket. It's been part of your identity. And here's the thing, though. As Reese got older, she inevitably wanted to do new things. And she would try to grab onto some new experiences, but she could never really grasp them because she was still holding tight to Bunny. And as she continued to get older, she would see her friends doing new things, and she would try to run and catch up with them, but dragging Bunny behind would trip her up and slow her down. So ultimately, Reese came to the realization that she had to make a difficult decision. In order for her to grow and evolve, she could no longer cling so tightly to Bunny. And though she loved him dearly, she realized she had to let him go. And this was painful and emotional. But with time, she moved on, grabbed onto new objects, soared to new heights, and all the while held memories of Bunny close in her heart. And in many ways, I think you're at that exact same point. You now face that same difficult realization. You know that to continue your growth and development, you've got to let go of many of the things that bring you comfort, security, and love. And man, that is hard. And it's supposed to make you feel a bit sad. Because when we find something we love, we naturally cling to it. We hold it tight. But inevitably, the opportunities present themselves to you where you realize that if you're going to hold tight to this, it's going to weigh you down. It's like clinging to a sinking ship. The ship is sinking into the depths and the darkness, and if you continue to hold tight, it pulls you down and drowns you. And for as much as you love the security that ship once provided, you know that salvation comes through letting go, risking the unknown, and trusting in fate, in family, and in yourself. So high school graduation, tonight is that moment when you start letting go of many of your familiar comforts. And I believe you're better prepared for this than most of the senior classes that have come before you. Because this past year, you've been letting go of so much. And while that has hurt, you've also gained the knowledge and the lifelong wisdom that in these moments, when you're letting go, you can tell yourself one of two stories. You could tell yourself a horror story, or you could tell yourself a hopeful story. The pessimists, the timid, the closed-minded tell themselves the horror stories. They talk about everything they're losing and how horrible things will be. On the other hand, the optimists, the bold, the daring, you tell yourselves the hopeful story. You tell yourself a story of letting go and embracing opportunities for the new. Telling hopeful stories and embracing the new. I think that's what your destiny is, and I think that's what your generation's calling is. You have seen so many parts of our old familiar world weighing us all down and holding us all back. And you know that as this pandemic ends, our society cannot go back to what was. We have to let go of that status quo. And instead of going back, we go forward. And I think it's your generation, with the stinging bruises of your hard-earned knowledge fresh in your minds, that it will be you that help write our hopeful story, which will guide us all to new and better places. One of my favorite stories is the book Life of Pi, because it is ultimately a lesson in letting go. And the main character, Pi Patel, he teaches us that in the end, the whole of life is about learning to let go. But what always hurts the most is not taking a moment to say goodbye. Class of 21, parents and guests, if you're feeling the sadness of letting go, if you're anxious about moving forward, Pi tells us that this pain and sadness is a signal for you to think about those people you truly need to say thank you to and say goodbye to. Think about who have been the lights in the darkness that have guided you to this point. Who do you need to say thank you, I love you to? Pi's life teaches us that in times of transition, when we depart the known, it is expressions of love and gratitude that provide us the courage and the strength to find closure and move forward. Class of 21, we must let go of one another now. And though we'll always remember this moment and cherish our days together, it is time that our school community bids you farewell and watches you fly into your future. As you venture forward, know this principal, this school community, these parents and family members, thank you for all that you are and all that you will become, and we love you. Dr. Lee, Board of Education members, before you are true Wildcats in academics, in sports, and arts, as well as in service and spirit. It is with great pleasure I present to you Libertyville High School's graduating class of 2021. It is now my honor to introduce for the last time the superintendent who has guided this district for 14 years, leading us to great places in his 41st and final high school graduation, Dr. Prentice Lee.
Well, thank you, Tom, so much. I appreciate that. Well, good evening. I'm honored to be the superintendent at what I believe is the best high school district in the country, Community High School District 128. On behalf of the entire District 128 family, I want to express my sincere congratulations to all Libertyville High School students who comprise the daring class of 2021. Before we continue this evening, I would like to give special recognition to last year's graduating class, the class of 2020, who due to the COVID-19 pandemic was not able to have a formal graduation ceremony, such as tonight. Please join me in giving a big LHS shout out to the class of 2020. You know, commencement is a very special time of year at District 128 because it is the culmination, recognition, and validation of 4 years of student commitment, dedication, and discipline in meeting our rigorous graduation requirements. And commencement is also a time to reflect back upon your many individual and team achievements and accomplishments in academics, the fine arts, athletics, activities, and community service during your 4 years at LHS. And this year is a very, very special graduation because we are actually able to hold a formal graduation ceremony tonight. That deserves a round of applause. That is truly one of the miracles of this year. It has been an honor to watch you learn, grow, and add to the storied legacy of excellence at LHS over the past 4 years, and importantly, to watch your nimbleness and resiliency throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. You are a very special class, and you are simply amazing. And since this is my last graduation ceremony before I retire as District 128 Superintendent at the end of the year, it is indeed a very special honor for me to be part of your commencement tonight. LHS graduates, you are surrounded tonight by those who love and care about you. Please take a moment to join me in celebrating some of the people that have been there for you. First, the very special family members and friends who are present this evening. At this time, will all audience members please stand? LHS graduates, let's give them all a big round of applause for loving you and caring about you. Please stand. Come on. Thank you. You may be seated. And let's also take them, and it felt good to stand up, right? Probably most importantly. There are several other people we'd like to have the graduates recognized tonight. If you are a Libertyville High School teacher, an administrator, or a support staff member, would you please stand now? And let's recognize these folks for the terrific job they've done with our graduates tonight. Okay, you may be seated. And finally, how about the host with the most tonight, Dr. Kalintis? Tom, stand up and be recognized. So, class of 2021, as we celebrate your accomplishments this evening, I hope that you feel surrounded by the spirit of goodwill from those who are here to celebrate your commencement this evening. Dr. Kalintis, as the District 128 Superintendent, I accept the Libertyville High School class of 2021. Congratulations on your graduation. I know that you will do great things in the years to come. Thank you. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the members of the Board of Education in attendance this evening. District 128 school board members are seated on the stage and will distribute graduation diplomas. Board members, please stand as I call your name, and audience, please hold your applause until all the board members are introduced. First, Don Carmichael, Secretary of the Board and member of the Board of Education. Casey Rooney, Facilities and Finance Committee Chair and member of the board. And Kara Drumke, member of the Board of Education. How about a big round of applause? I would also like to recognize Amal Hassan, Quinn Kurland, and Marilyn Yu, who served as the LHS Student Board of Education representatives this year. Amal, Quinn, and Marilyn represented LHS students and the Board of Education with distinction throughout this very challenging year. Amal, Quinn, and Marilyn, please stand and be recognized, and let's give them another big round of applause. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce District 128 Board of Education Facilities and Finance Chair and Board Member Mrs. Casey Rooney, who will authorize conference of your graduation and receipt of your diplomas tonight. Casey?
Dr. Lee, if you could remain standing for 1 second. I want to take one quick moment and recognize an additional graduate of the class of 2021. As Dr. Kay mentioned earlier, Dr. Lee has led this district fearlessly for nearly a decade and a half. And his knowledge, his time, his commitment, and not the least of all, his energy are a big reason that you guys are graduating from one of the best high schools in the country. So on behalf of our community, I want to take this moment to thank him and recognize. We will miss you. Class of 2021, congratulations. You have certainly taken a winding path to get to this day. Tonight, as several people have mentioned, we celebrate your ability to be resilient and to adapt to the ever-changing environment during your years here at LHS. As you move on to the next chapters of your lives, lean on each other and your entire Wildcat community. Your shared experience during this extraordinary time will be a source of strength. Graduates, you have so much to be proud of and so much to look forward to. On behalf of the Board of Education, I want to congratulate you and wish you every success. At this time, I'm honored to accept the class of 2021 for commencement.
All right, this is when we're going to start handing out your diplomas. This covers to you guys. Let our class honor guard come forward. Let's welcome our class marshals, Celia McDermott Hinman and Adam Presley.
Who am I supposed to call?
Sam Jonas Aberholden.
Beckett Foster Abington.
Pavan Manish Acharya.
Camilo Acosta.
Sadan Saeed Ahmed.
Michael John Allen.
Ryan Patrick Allen.
Skylar Elizabeth Allen.
Aaliyah Simone Ambrose.
Simon Felix Amiot.
Cade Peter Apton.
Lindsay Fong Miao Archibald.
Claire Marie Arnold.
Jane Abigail Arnold.
Cecily Therese Babbitt.
Ella Germana Palisak Bach.
Charles Thomas Basic.
Rania Hyder Barani.
Ariadne Alexandra Bain.
Tredell Dieris Baker.
Ryan James Ballou.
Nicholas Anthony Baragazzi.
Catherine Kimberly Barry.
William Philip Barty.
Elizabeth Kathleen Bates.
Haley Kara Bates.
Tracy Raymond Bateski.
Thomas Cooper Bailiff.
Clara Amelie Beauchamp.
Aiden Joseph Bechtold.
Angela Nicole Becker.
Lucille Maria Beckman.
Sarah Balabas.
Taylor Mackenzie Bell.
Gavin Michael Bennett.
Andrew Paul Benoit.
Erin Marie Benton.
Nathan Tucker Berlowski. Olivia Adrian Berteau.
Andrew Christopher Birch.
Pia Kathleen Bettridge.
Tyler Allen Bever.
Jack Patrick Bjorklund.
Amanda Jane Black.
Craig Hunter Blackman.
Emma Mary Black.
Calvin Jeffrey Blom.
Sarah Grace Bogan.
Ashley Morgan Bourne.
Caitlin Victoria Borowick.
Vivian Carolyn Bory.
Konstantinos A. Bouchatopoulos.
Nicholas John Bolby.
Megan Elizabeth Bowling.
Blake Lewis Boyer.
Patrick Ryan Boyle.
Jack Jeffrey Brennan.
Matthew Thomas Brenner.
Calvin Robert Briscoe.
Tyler James Burney.
Gavin David Brown.
Lillian Murray Bruns.
Brian David Brzezinski.
Ariella Anaí Bucio.
Gavin Michael Byer.
Brian Michael Burke.
Aiden Charles Burkhart.
Ryan Joseph Burns.
Courtney Ann Burrows.
Gavin Hunter Campo.
Angel Francisco Campos.
Kara Jane Cannon.
Carson Michael Cardona.
Mallory Joy Carney.
Sophia Rachel Coronas.
Ishmael Carrillo Jr.
McDermott Joseph Carroll.
Robert Wesley Cartwright.
Ashley K. Cervantes.
Aubrey Lynn Cervantes.
Kevin Abel Cervantes.
Jody Yuan Chen.
Caitlin Ann Christensen.
Anastasia Danae Christophilus.
Allison Yeun Chu.
Annalise Elizabeth Chudy.
Andrew Joseph Clark.
Madeline Mary Clausen.
Alexander Edward Clemens.
Caroline Parker Connell.
John Christopher Consoli.
Kelsey Martha Corrigan.
Dane Rausch Dannenfeld.
Parker James Davis.
Benjamin James Diacetis.
Robert Michael Delatorre.
Nicholas Prescott DiMartini.
Grace Catherine Dillon.
Brett George DeLulo.
Dina Michael Dobrin.
Olivia Ruth Doctor.
Tia Michelle Doctor.
Andrew Terry Douthat.
Ethan Richard Early.
Bethany Ann Ebert.
Lena Asan.
Mark Iacovoni Ekdahl.
Owen Patrick Elfring.
Blake Adams Ellingson.
Christian Lee Engfer.
Rachel Cecilia Erdman.
Lily Elizabeth Irvine.
Lance Matthew Espiritu.
Thomas Lawson Evans.
David Joseph Farley.
Brenna Lynn Farrell.
Megan Christine Feeney.
Jack McLean Fillinzak.
Joseph Donald Ferreira.
Emma Marie Fields.
Georgia Elizabeth Filler.
Nicholas Joseph Fiore.
Declan Thomas Fisher.
Courtney Lynn Flamank.
Spencer James Ford.
Ivy Jane Fowler.
Charles John Franz.
Gabrielle Rose Freelander.
Grant Thomas Friel.
Colin Fiore Furlong.
Sebastian Florian Gassick.
Michael Edmund Gaddick.
Ryan William Gadick.
Michelle May Gembra.
Hayden Michael Janak.
Allison Grace Gifford. John Patrick Gillespie.
Jack Michael Glabowitz.
Griffin Pierce Gobler.
Abigail Lee Gorley.
Caitlin Lee Gowans.
Rylan Jacob Grana.
Marissa Jordan Greenwell.
Alexander Charles Griffith.
Alexander Michael Griffith.
Joseph Linthicum Griffith.
Rebecca Lynn Groby.
Caitlin Una Gramacki.
Olivia Elizabeth Garino.
Elisa Quishay Lene Gullett.
Akina Gunawan.
Fiona Wu Gunawan.
Haig Nicholas Hagopian.
Madeline Grace Handrich.
Ethan Gregory Hansen.
Allison Elizabeth Hardy.
Grace Catherine Harold.
Amal Hassan.
Julia Stewart Hassler.
Connor Jonathan Hay.
Julia Judd Hazen.
Michael Bennett Heblin.
Morgan Hope Helstad.
William Benjamin Herbeck.
Edwin Jesus Hernandez.
Casey Marie Heyer.
Marielle Grace Hides.
Lily Catherine Hieronymus.
Elizabeth Claire Hodge.
Kara Meggers Hogan.
Brian Adam Holstrom.
Ty James Holsworth.
Kelly Ann Hopper.
Rowan Francis Hornsey.
Alana Lynn Howell.
Louise Magdalena Hubbard.
Lauren Marie Huber.
Alexander Martin Humbert.
Jacob Andrew Humbert.
Matthew Inja Her.
Sebastian Alejandro Ingino.
Cheryl Ann Jacob.
Samuel Mark Jacobs.
Catherine Elizabeth Yankee.
Ethan Douglas Jennings.
Melissa Catherine G.
Yinghao Jin.
Jacob Michael Johnson.
Joseph Everett Johnson.
Landon Thomas Johnson.
Kevin Babu Joseph.
Rachel Victoria Joswiak.
Ian Byung-yu Jun.
Kenneth Reese Junis.
Elena Peggy Kafkas.
Zaina Cogsey.
Samuel James Callas.
Nora Rosalind Canchis.
Sofia Borisovna Karpacheva.
Katie Elizabeth Cates.
Aiden K.
Elena Grace Kazian.
Daniel Patrick Keating.
Tristan Catherine Keegan.
Megan Grace Kerrigan.
Alyssa Carolyn King.
Caitlin Hannah Kincaid.
Colin Michael Klanos.
Leah Grace Klein.
Delaney Renee Closer.
Preston Hunter Knapp.
Aura Angeline Knoopel.
Trent Robson Koenig.
Madison Croct.
Joshua Allen Kraft.
Anna Elizabeth Kriegbaum.
Tyra Ann Kukler.
Quinn Matthew Kurland.
Cole Aaron Landmeyer.
Emma June Lash.
Isabella Ting Lau.
Brendan Clark Lawless.
Ty Grayson Lawrence.
Riley Nicholas Lazaretto.
Timothy Stephen Lee.
Logan Paul Lenz.
Iva M. Leslie.
Emma Rose Letcher.
Stephen John Leventis.
Juliana Lex.
Allie Anna Lichter.
Derek Arthur Leading.
Emma Marie Lindemann.
Maxwell Allen Lindsay.
Peter Thomas Liphart, Jr.
Stephen Allen Labrillo.
Connor Stephen Lockwood.
Lucia Luisa Lafredo.
Julia Eve Luizzo.
Luca Domenico Lucente.
Jacob Todd Ludlow.
Rebecca Nadine Lutke.
Connor William Lutz.
Charlotte Gardner Lynch.
Mitchell Thomas Madlins.
Daniel Stephen Malikel.
Jonathan David Marcourt.
Ella Kennedy Marsden.
Matthew Alexander Marshall.
Laura Lisette Martinez.
Adriano Martinov.
Christine Marie Massa.
Julia Ann Matier.
Chad Archer Madalenko.
Charles John McBride.
Kylie Raquel McCarthy.
Caitlin Alyssa McCarty. Dylan Matthew McDonald.
William Henry McDonald.
Abe Scott McEwen.
Colin James McKibben.
Colin Mark McFerrin.
Olivia Lauren Mendrella.
Madeline Olivia Michelotti.
Mark Joseph Michelotti.
Chase Frederick Miller.
Kylie Grace Miller.
Riley Ann Malowski.
Lauren Rose Mills.
Bronson Flash Mitron.
Demetrius Mitsopoulos.
Ewan Gutner Montag.
Jessica Rafaela Montero.
Christopher Bruce Morrison.
Mariana Morrissey.
Sarnab Jyoti Mukhopadhyay.
Grace Rose Mueller.
Christopher Arthur Mulligan.
Julia Sophia Marie Munoz.
Quinn Michaela Murphy.
Carl Dennis Navarro.
Mason Connor Nave.
Cade Allen Naraki.
Joseph Martin Neal.
Catherine Grace Numeris.
Grace Margaret Newberger.
Jacob Paul Newman.
Jenna Dawn Newby.
Jamie Victoria Nicholson.
Luke Isaac Neiman.
Aiden Giordano Nolan.
Peyton Alexandra Nolan.
Megan Francina Nostrand.
Tyler Ryan Novak.
Bryce Lee Nowicki.
Jonathan Robert O'Hara.
Sophia Marie Aberentos Olson.
Josephine Emily Olson.
Jack Patrick Olson.
Michaela Orvis.
Ashley Elizabeth O'Shea.
Kyle Henry Oddie.
Sam Ryan Otto.
Allison Ann Parker.
Lauren May Parker.
Rebecca Rosemary Parker.
Dylan Anand Patel.
Maya Deval Patel.
Ryan Clark Patterson.
Zachary Daniel Paulson.
Griffin Scott Eisenberg Payton.
Lena Francis Perry.
Samuel Benjamin Peterson.
Mary Elena Piedrahita.
Olivia Claire Pittum.
Paul John Pivovarchik.
Reagan Elizabeth Porter.
Christopher Riley Potter.
John Ryan Power. James Thomas Preusker.
Nicholas Alexander Samaras.
Constantinos Syhagas.
Chase Richard Pulaski.
Mia Imani Quigley.
Savannah Morgan Quigley.
Quinn Patrick Ramstead.
Jason Gordon Rebman.
Catherine Ann Recker.
Brittany Ann Reed.
Jack Dennis Regan.
Eileen Ravello.
Claire Elizabeth Rice.
Andrew Alexander Richardson.
Ethan David Richter.
Kayla Judith Ritchie.
Faith Elizabeth Roberts.
Matthew Evan Robertson.
Nicholas Tyler Robinson.
Brooke Ashley Rochester.
Peyton D. Rodriguez.
Hayden David Rogan.
Callie Noel Royland.
Brianna Rose Rojas.
Sarah Mackenzie Roston.
Hannah Elizabeth Sachs.
Matthew Jacob Sakes.
Hannah Cecilia Sanchez.
Catherine Elizabeth Sanders.
Jackson Gaines Sanderson.
Andrew Brian Santiago.
Olivia Marie Sowers.
Ella Diana Schaffnett.
Elizabeth Grace Shack.
Emily Grace Scheibler.
Joseph Daniel Schmeider.
Greta Elizabeth Schultz.
Mia Margaret Scopacasa.
Fabian Segura.
Lauren Martin Semler.
Divya Senthilkumar.
Ryan Kumar Seth.
Desigamorthy Shamuganathan Nainar.
Maz Sheik.
Kaylee Lynn Sherman.
Colin James Shin.
Matthew Brennan Shinnick.
Jacob Robert Short.
Zeal Kartke Shukla.
Mackenzie Marie Schatz.
Courtney Shea Simpson.
Isabel Anna Simpson.
Samantha Ann Scarbeck.
Maureen Shannon Skinner.
Kayla Rose Slokta.
Larissa Eva Slessers.
Kaya Megan Smith.
John Badron Snow.
Madeline Kate Soderstrom.
Morgan Ashley Spalding.
Madison Alexandra Spear.
James David Steinhaus.
Molly Marie Stilling.
Matthew John Stokovich.
Mary Kate Lorelei Stone.
Jonathan Keith Stoner.
Lauren Elizabeth Stratton.
Kaylee Morgan Studeville.
Karam Hani Suleiman.
Jennifer Darlene Svek.
Thomas Kirk Swanek.
Aiden Christine Swanson.
Isaac Matthew Schweitzer.
Helena Sky Zatmary.
Jensen Joran Taff.
Leanne Marie Tam.
Lori Catherine Taranowski.
Dominic Michael Torello.
Kyle Patrick Tafel.
Leo Alexander Thacker.
John Franklin Thames.
Nicholas John Thomas.
Catherine Ann Tomey.
Sophia Marie Thompson.
Mason Roland Thorne.
Jason Sullivan Torres.
Tyler Joseph Trigg.
Veer Tushar Trivedi.
Amber Marie C.
Raquel Georgette Tubeck.
Liam Edward Tucker.
Christina Tudori Poza.
Isabella Maria Turco.
Ella Jane Urbanski.
Nathan Donald Van Lysel.
Kelsey Janine Van Meter.
Lillian Jean Van Dixhorn.
Avery Grace Vang.
Paige Mattia Vang.
Luisa Fernanda Vega.
Mia Christina Vernasco.
Margaret Ann Vickers.
Hannah Lynn Veith.
Sarah Ann Villani.
Timothy James Wachnick.
Lawrence Wang.
Emma Elizabeth Ward.
Logan Russell Ward.
Colin Charles Watson.
Michael Weaver.
Alyssa Saturday Wells.
Brady Daniel John Wells.
Benjamin Claymore Westlake.
Jimmy Manuel Wexler.
Addison Noel Wizenand.
Ryan Patrick White.
Taylor Riley Widman.
John Velasquez Wilcox.
Grant Christopher Williams.
Lillian Grace Williams.
Hannah Khalil Wilson.
Aaron Robin Woshinski.
Richard Albert Schau.
Marilyn Joyce Yu.
Mia Marie Zaccaro.
Jenna Elise Zangle.
Anna Zhang.
Jonathan Scott Zhang.
Celia Catherine McDermott Hinman.
Adam Charles Presley.
Oh, yeah. Class of 2021. Let's move those tassels from right to left. Let's stand up, and you are officially graduated. We ask everybody to please remain in your seats until the graduates leave the gym. Those graduates on this side will be going to the cafeteria. Graduates on this side will be going to the auditorium. Please remain seated until all graduates have left. Music, maestro.